Hi, Kingdom Hearts fans.
Hi, I'm not going to say the thing you want me to say.
Oh, Pat.
I'm supposed to say hi, Disney fans.
Man, it's a big Roy Conley E3 2015 reference. This man's ruining my vibe. But I am Sam Zavada, a.k.a. Bad Sam, a.k.a. the Suspicious PAX East, and you're listening to the first episode of The Clowns of Not. And I'm joined right now by Pat Corcoran, a.k.a. Cork, a.k.a. the Balls Linguine. What's up, Pat?
That's me. Thank you for having me on your inaugural podcast. I'm excited to talk about this nerdy stuff we've got going on.
Oh, man, don't call us nerds.
Oh, it's
man.
a little
we gotta
nerdy.
Be cool. All right. So we're going super obscure here.
Right.
And we're going super specific. We're talking about the Kingdom Hearts video game series as if there was some other series other than the video game series.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, the manga.
Don't
sleep on the manga.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so we're going to be talking about the top 10 heroes in the Kingdom Hearts video game series.
Right.
And here are a few ground rules, just so anybody listening to this will know how we're doing this top 10 list. We've already chosen 10 characters. These are predetermined characters that we're about to rank. We each have our own list. We each have our own opinions on where these characters fall on a 1 to 10 list. And the format's going to be, I'm going to pick number 10, Pat will pick number 9 and 8, I'll pick 7 and 6, Pat at 5 and 4, then I pick 3, and then we mutually decide on the number 1 hero in the Kingdom Hearts series. The 10 characters that we're dealing with are the original 3, Sora, Riku, and Kairi, the Birth by Sleep trio, Terra, Ventus, and Aqua. I think they have an official title. It's like the Wayfinder trio. Yeah. And then there's the Ice Cream Trio.
Diabetes Trio.
Yeah. Roxas, Axel, and Shion from 358. And then we needed to fill 10 spots.
Vestigial Nominee.
Yeah, so we threw in Nominee in there too because she's kind of on a similar level of importance as some of these other characters. So she's included as the 10th person. So let's rank some animated characters, Pat. You want to get into this thing?
We should make it clear that it's not the characters that we like the most. It's the ones that we think are the most well-written and constructed.
Sure,
So there will be people that I like that are lower than people I don't like that much, but I think that the characters I don't like as much are probably better written.
Totally.
They're flawed. They have flaws.
And that's kind of going to be the tone that we go with here. We're going to be trying to analyze these characters with some laughs in between, but we're not just trying to fanboy here. Like, we're actually trying to dig into these characters a little bit, what we like about them, what we don't like about them, and that's kind of the format that we're going on here. So, let's do this thing.
You're number 10, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we're always going to be picking the lowest ranked one on our respective lists to make this up.
Okay.
And my number 10 is Shion from 358.
Wow. Am I allowed to tell you where I had her on mine?
After I give my reasons why.
Okay.
All right, so I have Shion at number 10 on my list, and there's a couple of different things for it. One, the most interesting thing about Shion is her death. That's the only thing that I actually care about in her whole arc.
That's true.
And her death leads to her being forgotten by everybody that knew her.
Right.
So it's like her connections to Roxas and Axel, unless you're trying to deal with something very, very metaphysical, even by Kingdom Hearts standards, you're really stretching to say that she's got some kind of plot significance other than being in Dream Drop right at the end in Sora's Heart. So you're really kind of stretching to give her plot significance. Even if she was remembered, her life when we see her in 358, comparatively to the other characters that we have on this list, isn't that interesting. Like, she's not terribly depthy, especially when we compare her to the Riku replica from Chain of Memories, who was a similar type of project in that universe, but got way more interesting dialogue and a more interesting arc, all things considered. I mean, he hardly was even on screen, but he seemed way more interesting to me. And on top of that, she's only in one game, basically, and it's not really that good of a game. And I kind of have to dock points for that as well. So where did you have Shion on your list?
You're gonna puke probably.
Go for it.
I had her at number 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be okay with it.
So for me, like 358 or 2 days is not a good game. It's not fun to play, and I would not want to play it again. I don't even think I 100%ed that game, but I really did enjoy the story, and I did connect with those 3 characters. And while I do agree that Shion is not the depthiest character, the deepest, I don't know. I think the impact that she had on Roxas and Axel, I don't know. I felt like that was worth having her that high. I know it's not her own character that I'm kind of talking about here, but like the scenes that she was in with those 2, and I have those. I don't think it's spoilery to say that I have those 2 other characters high up in my list.
No, you're good.
So I don't know. I think maybe I was more so looking at it as the relationship that she had with those characters in that game, and I know she didn't live beyond that one solitary game, but I don't know. I thought she was all right. I like her having to come to terms with the fact that she had to not exist in order for Sora to wake up again. And I like that whole arc with Riku where they meet at first at like the Beast Castle and then on Destiny Islands again. So I like that. After hearing your arguments, I probably wouldn't have her that high. I'd probably have her maybe 1 or 2 spots lower, but
I mean, I respect it. In the moment, Shion has some really solid moments, but it's just like when I'm comparing her to a character like Sora, somebody's got to be a little bit lower on the list. Right. So, I mean, I can dig Shion to a point, but not too high on the list. Yeah. So, Pat, I guess that means that your number 10 is still on the board.
Yeah,
so have a go at it.
So my number 10, I don't know how you're going to feel about this, is Kairi. Yeah.
Whoa.
Kairi is by and large the most useless character on this list. Maybe not in the entire Kingdom Hearts universe, but on the list of 10 that we have here, she is the most useless. She's a Mary Sue, basically, at least in the first and second game, and we don't have any reason to believe that she won't be like that in the third game. I mean, she gets a Keyblade at the end of 2, so we could maybe assume that she'll be playing a large part or be playable. But she mostly exists in those first 2 main games as a plot object more than a character. Like, I don't know anything about Kairi. I know that she's a nice girl. That's really it. And she more exists as a plot device in the first game, and Sora's trying to rescue her in the second game. She's kind of like a Princess Peach kind of thing. So I couldn't give you 3 adjectives to describe Kairi that don't describe her physical appearance. Besides nice. She's a nice girl. Like, there's nothing else there. So,
I mean, I have her at number 7, so this isn't that much of a leap, really.
Not too much of a discrepancy.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of one of the great drops in this list from like 7 to 6. Like, Kairi's definitely in like the lower tier for me. Yeah. She definitely doesn't mean as much to me as a lot of the other characters, but I will say that in Kingdom Hearts 1, I really do care about the cause of Kairi. Mm-hmm. I have to say, even if she's asleep for most of it, like the stakes because of Kairi's situation always feel really high.
Yeah.
And I can't sleep on that, especially because it's like her situation is kind of what causes a lot of the tension between Sora and Riku, and that's kind of what's at the heart of that whole game.
That's what makes their relationship in the first game good. Yeah.
Right. No, I don't sleep on Kairi in the first game, but in the other games, it's
I mean, she's really only in the second game otherwise. I mean, she makes a cameo in Calm.
Right.
And then Dream Drop at the end.
Right. So mostly you're just kind of phoning Kairi in just because she's the second character that you see the whole time.
And she's a baby in the Birth by Sleep. But
well, the Birth by Sleep inclusion I do think is pretty cool.
Maybe if I thought about that, I would have had her a spot higher.
I mean, I do really like the parallel between her and Aqua and then Terra and Riku.
Those are all fun. I like all of those.
Yeah. So those are fun. But again, when we're comparing it to some of the other characters, when I talk about my top 6, it's like there's not really a spot for her to fit in there other than, once you get past your nostalgia.
Right.
Also, I don't like how she has a Keyblade.
Yeah.
The same. That
me neither.
Kind of bothers me.
I think she just has one to have one.
Yeah, and in a series...
shouldn't all the other 6 princesses get Keyblades now and then?
Yeah, right.
Because what makes her more special than the other ones?
Yeah, status as a Princess of Heart is cool. Having a Keyblade, not cool.
Yeah. And then we're going to get to other characters who get Keyblades, and we're like, wasn't it so cool when that person got a Keyblade?
We'll talk about it, but then on the top of everything, though, I think what it all comes down to is that for the second character that we see in the whole series, right after our boy Sora
wakes up,
no screen time.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
she's just not there.
No, she's like I said, she's a Princess Peach.
Right.
She's there to get.
She's just not important enough for a second credit. I do want to talk about where these characters are as far as their main character status. We're gonna have to get really high on the list, but anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Sure.
Anyway, so you also got number 8 on this list.
Okay, so this is gonna seem like a really sexist list now, I think, because I had Nominee at number 9.
No. I mean, that's kind of my ordering.
So Nominee is basically almost entirely dragged down because she is just blonde Kyrie almost. I do think she has a little more depth than Kyrie actually, despite being in less games and probably having less screen time than her. I mean, almost definitely having less screen time. I think in Chain of Memory, I mean, she shows up in Cage 2 briefly in the beginning and then at the end. I think in Chain of Memory, she's a very sympathetic character, and I think it's easy for the player to empathize with her. I know I did when I was playing. And I think there's that struggle between her and Marluxia and Axel, and that's all very interesting.
Marley.
Yeah, so but I mean, other than that, it's kind of the same thing with Kyrie. Like, there's not really anything you can say to describe her, I don't think, besides she's soft-spoken and she's
nice.
She's nice. She's easily manipulated, but she's Kyrie's nobody, and it's just like, well, if you're a copy of a person who already wasn't super interesting, what are the odds that you're going to be more interesting or something like that, Right. Xion looks and sounds like both of them, so that's the bottom 3.
Yeah, that is kind of probably the biggest knock on Kyrie of them all then.
Yeah.
It's just that all the characters associated with her specifically, they're the weakest. Yeah.
Except for one, which is hardly an association. It's more so like we'll get to it.
So a couple good things for Nominee. I mean, I had her at number 9, so this again doesn't really bother me at all. Same place as you, correct? Okay. So the circumstances that she's in Com are really terrifying, I have to say.
Yeah.
Being stuck in a room with Marluxia, even worse, Larxene.
Yeah.
That is so scary.
Larxene slaps her.
Yo,
she's the only character in the game to get, at least of these 10 characters, just get straight up slapped.
Yeah, Larxene is bad.
Yeah, she's mean.
Bad. Okay. I think her power is actually really cool, though.
Yeah, that's true.
That it's really...
that's honestly why I had her higher than Kyrie, because she has something that other characters don't have. Like, Kyrie has a Keyblade, so does everyone else.
Even if you think it's, like, weird or whatever, it doesn't make a lot of sense. At least it's something unique, which is kind of cool.
No one
everybody
else
has a Keyblade. It's like, oh, well, Nominee just, like, bends people's memories.
Right, yeah.
Neat.
And that's cool.
Okay. But her manifestations always kind of bothered me. Like, the fact that she exists is weird, because one of the rules is, well, Princesses of Heart don't have...
Right, because of Sora's whatever.
Right, yeah.
I still don't even really know the rules of it.
They put that rule up, like, after a Princess of Heart had a nobody.
Right.
Like, they just...
Oh, by the way...
Yeah, so it didn't really make any sense. Maybe that's a PR problem. Maybe that's just a writing problem. I don't know. But I've always thought that the way that she comes into existence in the whole thing is kind of...
It's strange.
Odd, yeah. And she has really random appearances throughout the series. Like, for somebody who really only has a big role to play in Com, like... being encoded does nothing for me. It's like, why Nominee of every character?
Yeah, honestly.
Like, was there not a more important character to have at the end of that to explain that?
Yeah.
First of all, the game shouldn't even exist. Points down. Yeah. But, I mean, that could have just been like, Nomura could have just said all of that stuff in an interview. It's just like,
by the way, Nominee,
somebody said, it's so dumb.
Also, when I was a kid, I didn't know how to do accents, and I thought her name was Namine.
Namine, yeah. I think a lot of us did. Yeah. That was rough.
Because we were just dumb little babies.
Stupid babies.
We should probably move on.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, it's getting weird. It's getting weird. All right, so now we're at number 7.
Oh, 7. Okay, so it's your turn.
All right, so number 7 is number 8 on my list.
Okay.
So it's actually
pretty close.
Higher than I thought. He is actually a boy now, so we're not sexist anymore. Okay. We're relieved. Yeah. Okay. Number 8 for me, and number 7 on our list is Ventus.
Oh, wow, same. Yep.
Oh, okay, cool.
At number 8, yep.
Nice. It's nice that there's some kind of agreement
He's
here.
bland.
Compared to Terra and Aqua, I think he is bland.
Yeah,
one advantage that he does have over them, in a game that's so, like, back and forth in its voice acting, like Terra and Aqua, I love me some Willa Holland, Jason Doerings, whatever, but they did not really perform well.
But Jesse McCartney does a great job,
Jesse McCartney's great. Also, Beautiful Soul is my jam. I love Beautiful Soul.
That Disney Channel classic?
Yeah. Boy, you know it. I mean, he's, like, right in there with Leonard Nimoy and Mark Hamill. And
Yeah,
like
I mean,
he's on their level.
I think there's a tier. I think he's a little below that tier, but I think he does fine.
Sure,
I think
but
he
I
has
think he's
some trouble emoting at some points.
Yeah.
But I think that maybe has to do with his actual character.
Yeah, and I think he's closer to Nimoy and Hamill than he is to Doring and
yeah,
Holland.
for sure, for sure.
So there's that. I really like the voice acting, but to talk about the actual character, all right, are you familiar with Horatio from Hamlet?
Yeah.
All right, so like
He's
there's
flat.
a thing. Right.
Yeah.
But the thing about Horatio is that he's always there. The person who plays Horatio can never play another character.
Right.
Ventus always is observing really cool stuff happening around him.
Yeah, that's true. I think he
Like-
gets to see the coolest stuff.
Yeah, right. So he's kind of an audience character.
Right, like a stand-in.
Yeah, right. So he's important to the story. He's always there. Is he always doing things? Maybe not.
Right.
One last thing that I think is cool about Ventus is that his return is very anticipated.
Yeah.
It's going to be really cool to see him after the 10 years because he's had the least action out of
Taking
everybody.
a big nap.
Yeah.
Sword took a 1-year nap. He's been taking a 10, 11-year nap.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Ventus's design, though, really ticks me off. That he looks like Roxas. I get it.
Yeah.
But, like, that's just to cause confusion, though.
I know.
Like,
no,
the only reason
and that's
why...
what people are going to point to who aren't super familiar with the side, or,
Right.
not side games, the handheld games. They're like, oh, why is this is so dumb because they look the same. Well, yeah, they didn't really do themselves any favors with that.
Right. Like, you just made the series more confusing for no reason, really.
Right.
You explain it with plot, but that's not good plot,
No,
though.
I mean, it makes sense when you explain it, but I'm not saying I'm happy about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think his attitude is kind of clumsy. At least Terra and Aqua are really consistent. Like,
Right.
sometimes Ventus comes into a world and he annoys the characters of that world really quick.
Also,
and
I'm Ven, or hi, I'm Ventus, call me Ven,
Right.
over and over and over.
And then sometimes he just absolutely knows who the bad guy is,
Right.
which is not a Terra
Terra's not
problem
good
with
at that.
Terra.
Terra never knows.
It's great.
Yeah.
Talk about that later.
Yeah.
But that's something that Ventus does not do well. He
I
doesn't
agree, yeah.
feel like he has free will at
Yeah.
all. Like, he doesn't feel like he's really making decisions. It's just
Right.
kind of all over the place. Whatever the plot needs
Whatever he needs him to do,
serve,
yeah. I mean,
So that's
basically,
all
you
I really
outlined
have
almost the same exact reasons I had for
Do you-
Ventus being at number 8.
Okay. So Ventus gets to number 7, but
Yeah.
we both had him at number 8. So respect.
Respect.
Okay. All right.
You're up next again.
Yeah, and now we're starting to break into my prime here because these are my top 6 that I've been referring to throughout this thing. And it's going to be number 6. Number 6, I have Aqua.
I had her higher than that. I don't know if you want me to say it. You want
I'll go through these points really
Okay.
quick. All right. So maybe since you have her higher, I'll start with the negatives here.
Okay.
She's a little too perfect for me.
She is kind of perfect.
That's a problem with other characters,
Yeah.
including our boy Sora.
Yeah.
But unlike Sora, it's like she's got kind of an elitist attitude about it.
See, the thing is, I kind of like that.
Sure.
Right.
That's why she's in the top 6, and I
Okay.
love the top
Yeah,
6.
yeah.
But it's also kind of working against it because it's always kind of against a character that I think is a little bit better. It's always going to be against that. And a lot of that sprouts from being Ericus's tool. I actually have that written here. She's just Ericus's tool.
No, and I know that, and I
It's
agree.
just like going out there, and it's pretty well done, all things considered.
Yeah.
But again, I don't like it though. I respect that it's done, and I know this isn't really about what we like, but it's starting to become like, well, this is how we're really getting close with a lot of these characters, and you kind of need something to pull it apart. It's like you're just an extension of Ericus.
Right.
So how great really are you on your own?
Right.
That being said, I really like how she's kind of the one to go clean up the mess left by the other two.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
really funny.
That's what I like.
She's mom.
Yeah, exactly.
She's
I was going to
mom.
say, she's like the mom of the group.
Yeah.
I just always really appreciated that in Birth by Sleep.
And her tragedy is
Right, and that
so
too.
powering.
I mean, they
It's-
all 3 of the Birth by Sleep characters have pretty tragic endings, quote, but Aqua's is almost unbearable because at least, Ventus is asleep. He has no idea what's going on. Terra is somewhat living on in, the antagonist of the series. Aqua is just stranded, in the realm of darkness.
which is Kingdom Hearts hell.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's hell, yeah.
And that's really something. And I
Yeah.
also think out of the 3 in Birth by Sleep, she probably has the best lines to say.
You freak.
Yep, exactly. I was just going to use that as my example. It's like when they're in Neverland and Vanitas breaks that Keyblade, which is so intense. She has the best reaction.
I wish Vanitas was on this list.
Yeah.
You know what's not great, though? When she's drifting into the darkness and she's like, Ven, I'll wake you up someday. It's
I'm
like,
sorry.
Yeah, that's not great. For the last like major line that she says, it's not good.
But I do always there's always a way, though. When she says that.
I do like that.
After she sees all of the people that she met, it's cool.
I had her at number 4. Mostly for the positives that we just listed, and I just cared more about those than the negatives, which most of them I agreed with. I do like her kind of status as like a parental figure, because there's really not really many of those in Kingdom Hearts. I mean, there's no literal parents in Kingdom Hearts. You know, and Master Ericus is a flawed parental figure. I mean, he tries to kill his, son almost. I mean, if you want to call Ventus his son, son stand-in, adoptive son.
Was my master. No, my father.
Yeah.
Master Ericus.
So
get it on the record.
That's a great line, though. Yeah. But I don't know. Like you said, her tragedy is just so intense and heavy, and it really struck me the first time I played it. And I just think she's got a cool design. I like her role as like the magic user. I think out of all of the 3, all of the Birth by Sleep characters' relationships with the Kingdom Hearts trio, the original, I like Aqua's relationship with Kairi the most. I just like that little scene in Radiant Garden where she meets the little girl version of Kairi and accidentally bestows the Keyblade ability onto her. So I like that.
It's a solid moment.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Is it my turn?
Yep.
Okay, so...
Is it me?
Is it me?
You got number 5, yeah.
Okay, so number 5 is my number 7, which is the main guy, Sora. Where'd you have it before I start?
I have Sora number 4.
Wow. So Aqua and Sora are basically swapped for us.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so Sora is, he was right above Ven for me because Ven is blander than Sora in my eyes. Sora is a dum-dum. Especially in 2. He's basically intolerable in 2. In Calm, he's great. And in 1, he's kind of like that Ventus stand-in that we were talking about, where I felt like I was more so in Sora's shoes, his giant yellow shoes. In 1, he wasn't really that much of a character either. He was kind of like a Kairi, and then he was just a nice guy. A little stubborn sometimes, kind of competitive, so there's at least that. In Calm, I think, is where he hits his stride the hardest. And in 2, he's pretty... I don't know. He doesn't really think before he acts, I think sometimes. He goes on a murderous rampage of the organization members just because they're calling him Roxas. He's really upset about that. He's told to do it, I guess. But he's almost like a tool of Mickey or Yen Sid in the same way that Aqua was a tool of Ericus. Dream Drop, he's not great either. He's probably the worst in Dream Drop.
So bad.
And I mean, am I mistaken, or are those all of the games really that he's in? Yeah. Is these major characters? It's just those 4.
Right.
And I think in Chain of Memories, he has the best outing. He's fine though. Like, there are worse characters for sure. And I don't feel bad that he's the main character. I mean, he's got the things to repel evil. Like, he's got to fulfill that plot line. So I'm not upset by him, but he's not, he's in the bottom half for me.
I feel it. I mean, for a main character, he's probably not grown as much as you would want.
Right.
Probably, right?
Like, I want him to have grown as much as Riku has.
Right.
Because people like to, or the game likes to act like they're equals.
Right.
But Riku's like 20 times more mature, has seen, 20 times more crap than Sora has.
Right.
Sora's been through some stuff, but he's just so damn chipper about it all the time that it's like, did it even affect you? Like, I like that scene in Dream Drop where he's like having like a moment where he keeps flashing between his Cage 2 design and his Dream Drop design, where he's like having like a mini stroke. Like, that was because you can see like the anguish. He was like, oh yeah, terrible things that have happened to me. But other than that, he's not great. But he's fine.
He's the Cage 2 of characters.
Yeah, for sure.
He didn't grow as much. I think it was actually on a pretty good pace from 1 to Calm to 2. It felt pretty natural to me. I don't think it was totally out of place. He has 3 really, really good games where I really like him.
Yeah.
He's got like the Cage 1 thing where, he's kind of a dull, ordinary boy.
Yeah.
But what the game is about, as far as what Sora's doing, is the connections that you're making with others.
Yeah, and also he wasn't really the chosen one. He was just an ordinary and dull ordinary boy who got a Keyblade because of other more interesting characters who messed up.
There's something that's kind of inspiring about that, I think.
Yeah, I like that.
When it all comes down to it, I mean, it's about your connections.
Yeah.
And, you know, if that's one of the main thematic elements of the whole series, then Sora really gets that across really well in one comment, too. Otherwise, oh, man, he's bad.
Yeah.
Dream
no,
job
but the connections.
rough.
If Sora needed references for a job, he'd be set.
Yeah,
like everyone would be like,
seriously.
Sora's a great guy.
Yeah,
He's my
he'd
pal.
have mad references.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much everybody that he's met that's like a hero,
That's
he's
still
kind
alive.
of aligned with. Yeah.
He's got the whole universe.
And that's kind of a double-edged sword because kind of the thing with Aqua that I mentioned right off the bat was too perfect. Sora's become too perfect.
See, that's why I like him in comic because he's such a hothead, you know.
Yeah.
That scene where he ditches Donald and Goofy, which we haven't mentioned throughout this whole thing, and they were totally excluded from this list because
Pat, you can go take a nap for all I care.
Go take a nap.
Yeah.
Great insult, by the way. What insults? Because I'd love to take a nap, Zora, but I'll just go and do that.
Yeah. Also, his voice acting, really quickly, post Kingdom Hearts 2 is so bad.
It's not great.
Haley, I know they're directing you that
Yeah.
way, but my boy,
Just stop faking it so much.
It's so stressed.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to make him
Oh,
sound...
it's me, Sora. Like,
This is what
so
would have
painful.
been really good if there was more time between 2 and 3,
Right.
because then, like, I mean, Haley Joel Osment could voice shield himself not at all
Yeah.
and sound like he's 21.
Right, which
like,
he
if
should be at
everybody
this
was
point.
21, it'd be fine.
Yeah, I agree. All right, we gotta
Yeah.
move on.
Okay. Well, it was the main character, so you got it.
Yeah.
All right, so it is you. Yeah,
Okay.
do it.
So number 6 on my list, number 4 on the list overall is Terra. Kind of similar to KH1, KH2, DDD Sora. He's a dum-dum, but you can't more so blame Terra's dum-dumness as you can for Sora's. I think Terra, people like to criticize him for always falling into the villain's trap or villain's plan in that specific world that he's visiting. And, you know, I get why people are annoyed by that, and I was too at some points, but I don't know. Terra is naive, I guess, to a fault. I think that's his biggest fault is that he's naive. Would you agree with that? Or
Impressionable.
okay, see, I feel like that is kind of one and the same almost because whoever talks to Terra last is whoever has his ear.
I think there's a reason.
Right. You want to explain? Because I'm willing to.
Are you willing to pass it off, or did you have another point?
I don't know. I think Terra is only a little bit above Sora for me because I think his play is more interesting. He's kind of like Riku, and he's kind of a watered down Riku for me. And I have Riku high on my list, obviously, since we haven't gotten to him yet.
I got you. Okay, so really quick to touch on that point that you just brought up. Yeah, I actually have in the note discount Riku here.
Right, yeah.
I also have discount Anakin. I know you're not a big Star Wars
I was
person.
actually going to say, and I've heard this comparison before,
Right.
he is a lot like Anakin.
Yep,
Yeah.
totally. Absolutely. Of course, we're talking Anakin Skywalker from Star
Right,
Wars.
right.
That's our reference there. But yeah, I actually have that. Discount Riku, discount Anakin.
Yeah.
Having said that, here's what's great about Terra. In the series, he has the most realistic motivations based on our real world that we're living in right now.
Okay.
He's the most realistic. This is based off of my emotions on my sleeve right now.
Right.
Terra starts as power hungry.
Yeah.
He just wants to be a master.
But here's the thing. I don't think that they conveyed that well enough. Like, I didn't see Terra as that until, like, I was at the end of the game, and they were like, Terra was power hungry. I was like, oh, he was? Okay.
Okay. I could roll with that.
Right.
But let's just say, okay, well, we know this then.
Okay,
Let's
sure.
just say you'd go in with the idea that Terra's power hungry.
Okay.
Let's break down really quickly his interactions with Ericus. Okay, so Ericus tells him his whole life it's all about the light. If you stray into the darkness at all, you're down the wrong path.
Right.
You're done. You're really in trouble.
You're right.
Okay.
Darkness is a drug.
Right.
It's a gateway drug.
It is.
Gateway to darkness.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, so you're told that your whole life. Well,
Yeah.
let's take that as if it was a parent. If you start getting involved with these things,
Right.
you start getting involved with these things, you're going to be going down the wrong
Master
path.
Xehanort's
That's a
the
problem.
cool uncle.
Getting there.
Yeah.
All right, so Terra at some point, I mean, these characters are a little bit older than Sora. They're a little bit more in a rebellious age, kind of.
Sure.
It's not to excuse some of the things completely that are questionable about Terra's character, but there is something to be said for the character that just rebels against something that they've been told their whole life.
Right.
He's kind of the anti-Aqua in that way, and that he's just kind of like, well, maybe there's some kind of balance to be had. There's like a really good scene in Radiant Garden where Xehanort's kind of breaking this down for him about the balance.
Right.
He's starting to kind of buy it, and it feels honest to me, and I'm into that. And to talk about his interactions with Xehanort, a lot of people say, how could you not tell that this was the bad guy?
Right.
Okay, well, Terra's not seeing it as a video game design. He's seeing it as another character.
That's kind of what I was trying to say that I couldn't get out as well.
Right. I mean, he's seeing it as that. And if you're impressionable to begin with, you're rebelling against your father figure, you just got passed up for the only thing that you want in the whole world.
Right.
You're probably going to start gravitating towards other people who have power.
And they say they didn't get you that thing.
Saying all the right things, then you're probably going to throw in with it.
Yeah.
And he's not being that shady. He's just saying more about a balance. And
he has some good points sometimes.
Right. Yeah. He does. He's really not that awful until he starts killing people.
Yeah.
So his points are sound.
Yeah.
So
then the murder.
To me, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, at least the motivations make sense. And I think that's something that a lot of people sleep on. They're just like, oh, you're so stupid. Yeah, but it makes sense why he is, though.
Right.
That
it does make sense.
More.
And I think I grappled with that when I was ranking him as like, he is kind of dumb and naive, but you know, it adds, I think it fleshes him out, and he is supposed to be dumb and naive. So, and there's reasons for why he is.
Right. It's not just blind.
Right.
He's about to get his redemption, too. He's about to come up and change.
Oh, he's going to have a great time in KS3, I think.
Yeah.
It's going to be the year of Terra.
Terra's going to be our boy in Kingdom Hearts 3. All right. Anyway, let's move right along. We're at number 3 on this list, and I'm going to take it, and then we mutually decide on number 2.
Okay.
All right. This is my number 5, actually.
Okay.
So I'm kind of digging into my list a little bit here. Maybe you won't like this, but it's Roxas.
Wow.
My 5th favorite organization member, my 5th favorite hero in this series.
Okay.
It's really coming down to a few things. One, I think Roxas is kind of done, despite what the trailers have said for us. I mean, we've already seen the whole thing for Roxas, so there's not really like any type of cliffhanger going on with the character that makes me care about his cause going forward. He serves more as this symbolic character, kind of a cautionary tale, kind of more of an outline for justifying that the organization members do have hearts. He's more of that to me. He's more of a metaphor than like an actual character that I feel connected to. That being said, he's probably second to Terra in being relatable. He kind of is, in the best way possible, a newborn baby at the beginning, and he goes through all of those really human emotions right off the bat.
And I love that tutorial in Cage too for that reason.
That's my next thing. That prologue's so well written, and a lot of it has to do with the things that Roxas is going through. I mean, that's kind of the whole thing of that.
Yeah.
It has more to do, that prologue, with the cutscenes than it does the actual combat. And Roxas is really, really strong because he's kind of vulnerable. Ironically, it's all part of the thing that I think that they were going for there. It really makes you care. I actually really care about him in 358 too, despite what I think about the game. His cause is always really, really solid. It's just that cause is over now.
It's smaller. It's a smaller cause, I think, in Days. I mean, until the very end where he's setting off to, you know, deal with Kingdom Hearts.
Right.
But it's like, oh, you know, when Shion's in a coma, or is it Roxas in the coma or Shion in the coma, or do they both
go?
They both go in a coma, so they're both worried about each other when the other's in a coma, and which sounds so dumb to someone who's never played the game. But you know, those little human moments I always really enjoyed in Days, despite, you know, the other flaws with that game. You know where I had Roxas on my list? Or are you done with your points?
I mean, top 2 probably.
He was number 1 for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So Roxas, for the same reason that you like don't care about, not that you don't care, but that you're not super invested in what's going to happen with him in future installments. I think he's like the best complete character in the series. Like he had everything pretty much wrapped up, and I really enjoy that actually. I know the end to his simulated existence in the Twilight Town, the fictional Twilight Town, or does he go to the real one at the end? I can't remember. Where does he go into the pod? In the fictional Twilight Town?
In the fictional Twilight
Okay, yeah.
Town,
So
yes.
where that ends and the summer vacation is over, and it hurts so bad.
Yeah.
And the Shion death, despite the line that everyone hates.
I think it's really good, though.
I know you like it.
I actually like it, yeah.
I actually don't like it that much, despite how high I have Roxas. I just think, like, he's Sora if Sora was good, and he's
Yes,
Sora
I'm in with that.
he's Sora if Sora actually internalized the terrible things that he's been through and the manipulation that he's endured and the false memories that he's had implanted. I mean, the anguish that Roxas has when he's like smashing up the computer and the lab or the mansion basement. I mean, it's so real to me. I think he's just one of the most real characters in the series. I empathize with him the most out of any character in the series. So
Yeah, I mean, I throw in with a lot of that. What puts Sora above Roxas for me was kind of just the history element to it. It's like, he's just so strong in one, and two, that it's like, well, you have 3 really solid, well-written games for the character versus 1.5. It had more to do with exposure than anything.
right.
And again, there's still more going on with Sora. There's still kind of, you're holding out with the things that are wrong with him are going to be turned around a little bit. It's
the thing I just want to say about Roxas is, like, anytime he does something, I never go, why is he doing that?
Yeah.
I never go, that doesn't make sense that Roxas is doing that.
Yeah.
Sora with that, I'm like, Sora, why are you being like this?
Yeah.
Or Terra or Ven. And Ven less so because he's kind of bland. But Roxas, like, I feel like he's consistent and he's always got a good reason for what he's doing, and he's confused and he's he's tormented, and it's not over the top, I don't think, because anyone in that situation would feel that way.
It's pretty similar to Terra in a lot of ways. The way that he's going through it, the confusion, and just kind of like some blindness to a lot of like the bigger goings on of things. Yeah. I mean, I really like Roxas.
And just the existential defeat of the summer vacation. It's so sad. Like people don't really die in Kingdom Hearts, and Roxas did not die, but like that, if you count it as a death scene, it hits me harder than any other death scene in the series of people who actually do die, like Ericus.
Right.
I don't feel that bad because he's kind of a jerk. Roxas, I don't know.
Roxas is not a garbage character who nobody cares about.
Exactly.
Despite what IGN would tell you.
Right.
IGN's bad.
Yeah,
no, actually, they have some pretty solid reviews, except for Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now we've reached the top 2.
So we have to come to a consensus, right?
We do, yeah. And we're going to reveal what we have, like, in the remaining places. Who do you have in these spots?
Right. So you just my
yeah, wherever you have them. And
so it's Axel and Riku is what we're between right now. So I have Axel at 2 and Riku at 3.
Okay.
But I could probably turn around on that, to be honest.
Okay. We possibly will run with that because I have Riku at 1 and Axel at 2.
Okay.
I think it's a better move, probably. Like,
okay.
In the grand scheme of
for Riku to be number 1.
Yeah.
And I would probably agree. The only thing that knocked Riku for me is that I'm getting a little tired of his struggle. You know what I mean? That's why.
That's my note.
And Axel is, Axel's just cool. That's like, he's just the coolest guy on the list. He's probably the coolest guy in the series overall, in my opinion. The fact that he has a Keyblade is fine. I know we mentioned that earlier in the podcast. I don't know. Riku by Dream Drop, it's like we're still doing the like I have darkness in me thing. Like we're still doing the Ansem Secret Darkness hold on me. By the time we were done with it in Calm, I was like, all right, so Riku's he's on the up and up. Like we're done with that, and he's walking the road of Twilight, and he is, I guess, but he's still grappling with that. And I hope we're done with that in 3. Like. It's fine if he uses like the darkness to his own benefit in 3, but like I don't want to see him struggling to rein it in. I need him to be done with that. He's a Keyblade master now. What is it? There's only 2 Keyblade masters on this list, right? Him and Aqua.
Yep.
Yeah, it's because Sora failed.
Terra, come on.
Yeah, Terra also failed, and Ven was too young. He's too much of a baby. I could be convinced into having Riku higher because he does have an arc, I think, the most identifiable arc of every character on the list.
So are we going with Riku 1, Axel 2?
I could be talked into that, yeah.
Okay. Speak on Axel, and then I'll get my final argument.
So, like... It's really hard to separate how cool Axel is from how well he's written because he's much cooler than he is well written.
Right.
He has
Even though I think he's pretty well written too.
He is well written. except for in Dream Drop, I think. I don't like him that much in Dream Drop, and that's
the name is Lee, though.
I do like that. But it gets a little fan fiction-y in Dream Drop, where it's like, oh, so the 13-year-olds on Tumblr from 2007 wrote the plot points for Axel in this game.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's really bad. The Keyblade fan service hurts.
But obviously Axel is the centerpiece, rather his somebody Lee is the centerpiece of our favorite scene in the series. Both of it, like, we've agreed that this is the best scene in the series. It's in Birth by Sleep when Ventus runs into Isa and Lee in Radiant Garden, and Lee kind of explains his philosophy about wanting to be remembered.
Just like dropping philosophy on people. It's
he's like, hey, I know we just met, but like, here's why I want to live on in people's memories, because it makes me essentially immortal. And I don't know, there's like a youthful energy to Axel, I think, despite him being probably the oldest character on the list, right?
Yeah.
Unless you count, no, I think.
Nah, yeah.
He's probably in his like mid-20s. But he's like a kid, and he's having fun even when he's doing kind of nefarious stuff. When he's
Icky jobs,
when he's assassinating other members of the organization. When he just says goodbye and snaps his fingers and ends Vexen's existence. He oozes cool, and I know he's kind of the cliche favorite Kingdom Hearts character, but I don't know, he's a good time.
I mean, he's a really cool double agent for sure.
Yeah,
he's playing both sides, which is always really fun.
His plot with Isa.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Even in 358, a lot of people don't understand what's going on there.
Right.
He's taking people out so that they can have higher status.
Right, yeah.
Even in Calm, though, well, when that's actually being carried out, I guess, but he is so fun in Calm.
Yeah.
When he first shows up and he's like, hello, it's like, this is a different character.
This character's going to be a new thing.
Yeah, right. And I always like how he always keeps coming back to life, too.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's just kind of a dumb thing.
He's really only done it twice. Really only literally once. I mean, he faked his death the one time.
Right. Well,
he faked his death twice.
Right.
At the end of Calm and at the beginning of Cage 2.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I like how that has happened twice. I mean, for a lot of characters that doesn't work probably, because it's like, okay, why do you keep bringing back this character?
Right.
But for Axel, it's always such a pleasure to see him, and he always has interesting things to say.
Yeah.
Nothing Axel says is for no reason.
Right, yeah. There's no filler for Axel.
Right, right. And he's always just dropping bombs on people. Like, let's be honest, he's voiced by the great Quentin Flynn, who's just a lovely guy.
And in Days, by the way, he's great in Days.
Yeah.
With the whole thing with having to bring, I'll always have to bring you back with Xion and everything. It's a good time.
It's really good.
And I would have liked to see what happened to Axel if the development team, or the writers, were influenced by fan reaction.
Right.
Because I think Dream Drop, and maybe he wouldn't have even come back if not for the fan reaction. I think that would have been a net loss. I think it's a good thing that Axel is still around.
Yep.
Because it's someone from the Days plot line and really Chain of Memories. I mean, he's the only person really from Chain of Memories, and Sora, allegedly gets his memories back from there. Right. But Axel was there. He remembers all of it. He's from that storyline. He's from the Days storyline.
That's a great point. Yeah. In a series that's put so much emphasis, Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop are really the only
He was there for all of them, really.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop are the only ones I think the writers still have in mind.
Yeah.
Like, even KH2 feels distant.
It's
now.
like, oh, what was KH2?
Yeah, right.
Disney
in
World.
Kingdom Hearts 1, it's hardly even a thought, I think, anymore. So to have that character who's still so part of the fabric of the past of the series,
streamline for him.
It's really, really important to still have that character there. Yeah. And they've never really betrayed it, which is nice.
Right.
Makes you think, okay, maybe they do remember that there's other games besides Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop. That's a pretty cool thing. The one thing that's kind of weird about him is that I don't wish. It's just that, how do you rank this character? Because he's not consistently Axel.
Right, he's
because
Lee
it's like
sometimes.
this really weird thing where it's like, okay, well, wait, then what about Sora and Roxas?
Right,
like, it's not.
But here's the thing, we're going to count Braig and Zigbar as the same guy.
Yeah,
we're going to count, not that anyone else is nearly as interesting, but we would count like Vexen and Evan as the same guy, even though no one cares about Evan.
Yeah,
even Vexen, really.
It blurs some kind of line, but you're really, really reaching.
He's wearing
the
same clothes. He's the same hair, same voice. He's got the only difference is his eye drop, his tear tattoos. And I think his outings as Axel are better than his outings as Lee anyway. So I'm not going to split hairs over it. Like, he's Lee in Birth by Sleep, which he's great there, but he's a kid in that one, and in Dream Drop, and he's fine in Dream Drop. He has some dumb lines, but he's way fun in 2 and Calm and Days.
I have him at number 2.
Yeah, and I can agree on that.
I think he's really great.
Riku's just a more round character, I think.
Right. And while Axel has the more difficult road to become included on this heroes list,
right? Yeah,
in quotations,
because he kills people,
right?
Yeah.
Riku is the more heroic character,
For sure,
all
yeah.
things considered. He kind of has a similar thing where he has to go to the darkness to get to the light.
Yeah.
But
I think Riku, to get nerdy, Riku's like lawful neutral.
I think
Axel's chaotic good, I think.
Yeah. Good on you. This is kind of a hot take in the Kingdom Hearts world right now, but I think we're living in a world where Riku is the main character of this series
He
now.
definitely was the main character of Dream Drop, and that's not a question.
He's really interesting and calm.
Yeah, actually, yeah. And I mean, even in his appearances in Days, I think were good.
Yeah, totally.
And KH2, he's kind of absent for KH2 until towards the end. I mean, he makes appearances here and there.
And then you get him in the party.
Yeah,
baby,
when you get him in the party,
it's like that's kind of what it's all been building up to.
Yeah.
To finally be able to fight with.
Here's how you know
him.
Riku's good is like KH1 or KH2 is probably like I would say his worst outing. Do you disagree?
That's really interesting.
Because I mean, I like him more in 1. I
but
think he's more
yeah,
interesting
that
in
is
1.
a really good thing for the character. I mean, if that's the worst you're gonna be, that's better than probably.
Because say what you will about KH2, but characters are on their game in KH2. I think aside from Sora, in my opinion.
The original. Well, maybe, but yeah, the original characters are for the most part really on point in KH2, and if that's one of Riku's like worst moments,
he's great in Calm. He's great in 1, Days, and Dream Drop especially. But let's cut out the darkness thing. Like, let's just get that
right. And that's really my only knock is that Darkness Arc has gone on too long.
Give him something new to do.
Right. Like Ventus, he's always there. He's got some unreal moments, but unlike Ventus, he's actually doing things in them.
Yeah.
He's always impacting something, and that's different for all of
He's
from
like
Sora
how Axel
too.
never says filler, Riku's never doing filler, he's never witnessing filler.
Yeah, like you've talked about Pluto, how he should be called Plotto because every time Pluto's around, there's plot happening. It's less funny to say, but Riku, plot's about to go down. You know things matter when Riku
Sora's going to Disney Worlds and not doing plot, but Riku does not. Riku does not get a reservation for the Disney Worlds. He skips those, and he shows up when things are actually serious and happening. So
I think my final point here is just going to be that I think he's kind of the best parts and the best flaws of everybody else kind of put into that character.
Rolled into one,
Yeah. In a way that's not fan service, in a way that's written really well. I mean, it's just a really well-balanced thing going on with Riku, and I feel really comfortable in saying that he's the main character now. It's not even
he was supposed to be, really. I mean, in the mythos of KH1, he was supposed to be the main character, and he made a mistake, and he's kind of been, doing... he's been repenting for that ever since.
For sure. So. I mean, it's Riku's like forgiveness tour,
and I hope it's over.
Yeah, right. It's stretched out. It seems like it's over.
Yeah.
I mean, in 0.2, he's just like, I got to be more like Sora, and I hope that's not taken too literally. But like, if it means that he's going to be a little more cheery, a little bit less darkness, all the time, it's probably good for the character.
He's done with the blindfold. He got a haircut. We're good to go.
So, to close this out, I'll recap the list.
Sure.
Before I do that, I'm just going to thank Pat for being on the old podcast.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I made this list last night, so I didn't have as many articulate points as Sam did, but I thought I rattled them around in my head.
You held up very, very nicely. Good on you.
I tried to be critical here.
All right. So to recap the list, at number 10 it was Shion. Number 9 was Kairi. And number 8 was Naminé. Number 7 was Ventus. Number 6 was Aqua. Number 5 was Sora. Number 4 was Terra. Number 3 was Roxas. Number 2 was Axel. And number 1 was that sexy guy that the gamer girls are really going to like, Riku. Props to David Gallagher for giving us that great sound quote that I just dropped that might be a little bit creepy since he's only 16. But no regrets. That was our list. Again, thank you to Pat. Thank you for listening. And don't forget to
get it memorized.